Hi everyone, my name is Senith Abeyanayake and I was the president of the Philatelic club in the year 2015, and I was told by the club to speak a bit about the importance of Philately and my experiences in the club. So starting off with the first, I actually started collecting stamps before I joined the club. It actually happened accidentally. When I was small, my house had a couple of drawers full of stamps, apparently collected by my grandfather, but they weren't catalogued properly. They were just, torn off envelopes, and they were just there lying around. And there were a couple of Ceylon stamps, particularly I think one stamp by King George VI. And I was always curious about stamps because I'd seen stamps on envelopes, but then the stamps that were there in my house were much older, so I was wondering where these stamps came from and why these stamps are different and what is going on. So in that background, when I joined the club in I think grade 3, I didn't join the club. I think my teachers had told my parents, and most of me and my friends just joined because our parents and the class teacher told us to, because we were too small. But once I joined the club, I think then only I started realizing how serious a hobby this is, because of course collecting stamps is collecting stamps, but there's a lot more that goes on if you're a serious philatelist. So through the club, particularly through the exhibition, we learned how to not only collect stamps but preserve stamps, catalog stamps, and also exhibit stamps. And I think that is something that really helped me grow as a philatelist, because I still collect stamps and now I'm a bit more serious than I was in school. And I think the club really helped me understand how this hobby works. And the good thing about the club is that it didn't only limit itself to stamps, even though the name says so. There's coin collecting, there's first day covers, and there was so much that goes on in the exhibition. So I thought that was really good. And as a philatelist, as someone who's interested in collecting stamps, the club really gives you the space to explore. So even in the exhibitions, even though when you're small, your parents really help you put up the exhibits. As you go on, then you start doing things on your own, and then you realize how to display a stamp really well and understand that every single stamp tells a story, and you can learn so much about it. So that was my experience as a philatelist in the club. But talking about the club itself, I personally think the club is extremely unique because it's one of the very few clubs in Royal that takes the membership from primary all the way up to A level. So there's a diverse range of members, and you get to interact with so many people, from your batch all the way up to 5, 6, 7 years older than you. And I think that really pushes you to grow as a person, because you start interacting with people, and from a very young age you start understanding how to organize events and how to how to do things, like for an example, going on ad hunting, going on poster pasting and things like that. And even personally myself, even when I was in middle school, I was interacting with people in the upper school, working with souvenirs. I remember with Madhavaya, I did a souvenir, and that was like a very good experience for me as a person. It helped me grow and also made my experience in Royal much better, because the club really pushed me into understanding things a bit more earlier, so that when I joined other clubs and other activities, I'd already got some experience. So I think that's something very unique that the Philatelic Club provides. But also, in addition to that, it's not just all about collecting stamps. There's so much fun that goes on. So many memories, from poster pasting to staying up in Lionel Vent or Art Gallery, putting up the exhibits, to walking around and hunting souvenirs and all of that. So it brings up it gives you all the experiences that a normal club a college gives. But the advantage is that you get to interact from a very young age, and the fact that there is such a diverse set of students means that every student's voice is heard, and it's a lot more flexible than some of the other clubs that I've been in. So that's something that's great. So finally, I would like to touch on the fact that, particularly in the pandemic context, I think hobbies like philately are really important, because it's a very personal hobby. You have your own collection, you grow your collection, and there is that connection that you have with the stamps that you collect. And I think you not only collect stamps, you enjoy the action of collecting, and also you learn a lot out of it. And I think in a context where you don't get to go out much and speak to other people, I think it's really important that you keep busy and do things that will give you some sort of satisfaction. So I think hobbies like stamp collecting are extremely relevant in this context. It's great that the Philately Club is doing so much amidst all these challenges that we personally didn't have. So I congratulate the club for doing all these activities and making sure that they stay relevant, and also they make particularly the young students understand these hobbies and also encourage them to continue this regardless of what's going on in the outside world. So I give my heartfelt congratulations to the club, and I hope that they keep doing the very good work that they're doing. So my final call is, of course, there are so many clubs, there are so many activities that you can explore in our college, but even though stamp collecting might sound boring, I would suggest you give it a try, and then someday, or it might just surprise you, and that's something that will leave a lasting impression in your life, because once you start collecting stamps, you can't, and that's something that will be a lifelong hobby, and also a really good investment, because most of the times the value of stamps will keep appreciating, which means that your collection someday might be even a really good source of income. So that's it from my end. So I hope you have a really good experience as well. Thank you so much.